Welcome to Hey Soul Sista, the podcast for women ready to embrace greater joy, freedom, and a soulful life. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe, follow, like, and share. Would you like your sex life to be better? You may have joked to friends that you don't need therapy, you have them. But sometimes working through the hard stuff in life requires help from a neutral party who happens to be a licensed professional. And if your hard stuff is about sex, a sex therapist may be a great option for you. And so today I have one such professional with me, relationship and sex therapist Gabrielle Lawrie. Hey!
Hi!
I'm so glad to have you in the studio today.
Thank you.
I was saying
Lovely to meet you, Mel.
I was saying to Gabrielle just before we started recording that last year, Erin Cuss-Kelly, who is a feminine health professional, a physiotherapist, came in on Hey Soul Sista, and we did an episode called Is Your Vagina Normal? And so many women came out of the woodwork going that they had problems like prolapses or incontinence or problems with their vaginas, and they didn't realise that there were women out there, professional women out there who could help with that. And so along that vein, I heard about Gabrielle being a relationship and sex therapist, and I thought, you know what? Sex and issues with sex are one of those taboos that go on for people, but we don't necessarily always want to talk about. Yeah. And I'm sure many of you, like me, are a bit curious about what a sex therapist does and what that therapy looks like. So thanks for coming in.
You're totally welcome. So what a sex therapist does, it's basically...
Yes. Yeah. So what is a sex therapist?
Well, we used to get our degree at the University of Sydney in health science or sexology, majoring in sexual health counselling. That allows us to study an integrative approach of different therapies, solution-focused brief therapy, narrative therapy, cognitive behavioural therapy, but there are a lot of head therapies.
Yeah.
So I went on to do more body therapies like resource therapy, acceptance, commitment therapy, and then Gottman couples therapy is used all the time by us.
So that sounds very academic.
Yes.
Because to be honest, I suppose my whole reference point around sex therapists and sex therapy is probably the movies and Sex and the City.
Yes. Meet the Fockers, everyone. It's we're doing that.
Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's a bit different in Australia. I think sex therapists in America are allowed to do classes and offer sexual surrogates for people to practice with and stuff like that. We're not allowed to here. It's basically what we do here is the same as seeing a psychologist or a counsellor. It's talk therapies, and then we might give you exercises to do at home with your partner or on your own if you're on your own.
Yeah, because I remember that episode of Sex and the City where they went to see, the girls went and saw a couple that taught them about, I think it was like how to pleasure a man, and they were actually did the whole the husband and wife, and they were an older couple, did the whole showpiece in front of it, all the participants. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't, but we're definitely not allowed to do it.
I was going to say, because the whole thing was that the after effect landed in Miranda's hair.
Oh no. Oh my God, no wonder people are scared of seeing us.
Yeah, so great. That's really interesting. Like, that is, for a lot of us, that's our reference point in terms of sex therapy, but you're saying in Australia that's really not a thing. It's more it's conversation, it's communication.
Well, yeah, seeing us is like seeing a psychologist or counsellor, but you will get exercises to practice at home, which might not be like seeing a psychologist or a counsellor. I suppose it's a more directive therapy because you'll be bringing in maybe a sexual functioning problem to us, like sex after cancer or, after back injury or something like that. Or you might just have, commonly couples have mismatched libidos or... So
what would be the most common reasons, or maybe your top 5 common reasons that people would come and see you?
I'd say lack of lack of healthy conflict resolution skills would be the number one.
Like in bed or just
in general, and it's affecting their sex life. They're no longer wanting to have sex because they're feeling so resentful. This full of misunderstandings, or also they're not speaking each other's love language.
Yes.
The 5 love languages are really helpful.
And if you don't know what that is, I only heard about the love languages recently. And the 5 are...
So there's gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch, quality time and acts of service. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So interestingly, I know my love language is quality time. And I'm really lucky that my husband's love language is quality time,
yeah,
which is awesome.
makes it so much easier. Yeah. And I mean, it's not impossible to learn each other if you both have two different love languages. Like, as long as you get your top two love languages in your relationship, generally people can stay really happy. But if you're not aware you're speaking two totally different love languages, and you might be having thoughts like, oh, why are they never happy? Nothing I ever do is good enough.
They're not spending any time with me, or they never buy me gifts, because gifts is a love language for some people. And if gifts is a love language for someone and the partner, acts of service is a love language, that's not going to necessarily work.
No way, no. My partner and I went through that when we met 9 years ago. When we were dating, I kept buying him tickets to concerts and all these fun events, and he kept building me stuff and fixing stuff. And he goes, oh, why'd you waste your money on that? And I said, what are you talking about? We're going on a balloon ride. And he'd go, yeah, but you could just cook me my favourite dinner and I'll fix your table while we're here. And so then we learned, oh, wow, we've got different love languages. And once we learnt to do baby steps in each other's love language, everything is so much easier. You waste so much time in the wrong love language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of them, is the conflict resolution if people are not getting on and it affects their sex life.
Absolutely. Conflict resolution. Definitely. A lot of people aren't aware of. So we wire in some conflict resolution skills in our childhood to either, even if we had perfect parents or really great parents with good skills, we'll still wire in some childhood kind of habits. And so these might be passive-aggressive, aggressive or assertive. And if we're not aware of what that looks like in black and white, we might think we're being assertive, but we're really being aggressive, even in a calm voice.
Yeah.
Or we might think we're keeping the peace and avoiding conflict, but we're really being passive-aggressive. And these things don't work in adult relationships. They're good survival skills when you're growing up. But, yeah, it causes so much. Probably a very common thing is the pursue-withdraw cycle emotionally. One of the partners in the relationship wants to solve the issue by talking about it and resolving it right there. And the other partner might look indifferent or like they don't care, but really they're needing time to process or calm down because they don't want to say something to make it worse.
Yeah.
Or they might feel like they don't have the communication skills to compete with the more verbose partner and work out a win-win solution. So then they reach a stalemate, and then they might stop having sex because they're resentful. And
Yeah. So what would be another common reason that somebody may come to see you?
I suppose I'll go into the mismatched libidos a bit more. That's really common because I think a lot of us are misled by movies and songs and of how it's meant to be in a long-term relationship sexually.
Absolutely. Romantic movies. It's all so fabulous.
We only see the honeymoon period and then that's it. But probably the only show that shows afterwards is Everybody Loves Raymond, and it probably doesn't look very sexy.
Yeah.
So a lot of couples don't know that it's normal for most couples to have mismatched libidos. So you only really have matching libidos in the first 6 months to 2 years, or that can be elongated if you buy long distance stuff, things like that still keep the uncertainty in the relationship. But yeah, after that period, once you're in a long-term relationship, a lot of women don't know that a lot of women's bodies just don't get as much spontaneous arousal sometimes.
Yeah.
Some women do. They have a really high sex drive, or they might have physical touch as their number one love language. But if you don't, some women are waiting to get in the mood and they never get in the mood.
Does that actually happen, that you reach a point where you never get in the mood?
Well, a lot of women will get that once a month when they're ovulating, or, that, could be interested. But by the end of the day, after kids and work, they're like, yeah, that's gone. That was fleeting.
Yeah.
But they don't know that Rosemary Basson actually did studies on women's cycle of desire, because they used to just think men and women's were the same. But women's cycle of desire actually works. Women get aroused more halfway through the foreplay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about that now.
Yeah. So some men try to turn on their partners by maybe grabbing her breast when she's cooking dinner.
Yeah.
That doesn't work generally. I mean, you can't totally generalise, like I said, but men's bodies can be like a firework. You light the fuse, they're ready to go. Women's can be like sometimes like a cold bath, you heat up, but it's really nice and warm for a long time. But you've got to do you can't just go straight to touch the nipples or the clitoris. It's irritating or people can feel numb.
I love this.
Yeah, you've got to work on getting her mind in the mood first, because if her mind is full of nappies and the to-do list and whether she forgot the milk or whatever it is, then there's no way she's going to be welcoming a grab here and there.
Yeah, do you know what? I remember I had a friend years ago who once kind of complained to me about her hubby. She kind of went, oh, do you know what? It's almost as though he just goes, come on, let's have sex. And she goes, and I'm actually making the lunches for the kids for tomorrow and I've got all this stuff to do. And he doesn't understand. It's like, boom, I'm ready to have sex now. And
I hear that from couples all the time. And I feel really sorry for probably men that's grown up in Australia, because some other cultures have a bit more of a sensual culture. They might learn to dance when they're young, so that's a bit sexy. They might be about cooking and long lunches, have a long lunch break together. There's much more. They know how to flirt or seduce their partners back in, whereas, I don't know, we might still have some Puritan kind of roots or something, which make it hard for men to know how to seduce women and hard for women to, there's centuries of, I suppose, slut shaming of women's sex drive. So that's hard too.
Yeah. Just while you're talking, I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, do you know what? I would say it's funny. I'm always like much more responsive when my hubby and I are on holidays.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, it's because we're having quality time. We're actually going for walks. We're hanging out. It's that whole quality time thing. So all of a sudden it's like, I'm actually really enjoying hanging with you. And, you know, that kind of leads on to something else and something else. But you're right. You know, when you get caught up in the day-to-day sometimes, it's actually a little bit hard just to turn it on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect example. Many women say they get more in the mood on holidays. And we've got really stressful, overwhelming lifestyles. Like, yeah.
Would you see many people that actually have physical problems, or is it more mental? Like
more mental and psychological, more just lack of healthy relationship skills. There's not many Brady Bunch role models out there that we grew up with. Everyone's kind of just said sink or swim. No one knows how to have a healthy relationship that keeps the spark alive. You're just meant to guess.
Hey, did you watch Bridgerton?
No, I haven't seen it, but
I love it in Bridgerton where Daphne marries the Duke and her mother comes in and has a talk and she goes, so, you know, on your wedding night you do the ritual. And she has no idea what the ritual is. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
That poor girl on her wedding night, she literally had no idea what sex was. It was hilarious. And I'm like, I suppose that does happen sometimes. I mean, we have sex education in school, but, you know, that's just like, okay, a penis goes in a vagina. But, you know,
pleasure education.
Pleasure education, doing the dance of love.
A lot of that time when couples come in, often I'm giving the basics of sex education, pleasure, how men and women's bodies work. I see same-sex couples as well. Yeah, but just knowing how their bodies work. A lot of them don't know how to bring out the best in their bodies.
Yeah. Do people get embarrassed? Because that could be embarrassing for some people.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about that.
Yeah, it's really scary for some people. And I suppose it helps them to know that everything they tell me is totally confidential.
Yeah.
No one is ever allowed to see your therapist's files unless you're a harm to yourself or others or they're subpoenaed by a court, but that's rare. So no one ever sees them. It's totally confidential. And they just feel safer knowing that you've heard everything out there. There's nothing I haven't heard.
Yeah.
And yeah, as long as it's consensual, it's all fine, whatever a couple wants to do together.
Do you find that people ever come to you as an individual or is it always as a couple?
Oh, no, I get a lot of individuals as well. So I get a lot of people that have just broken up or not able to find the love they want, and they might have been on their own for a long time and struggling with loneliness and how to meet the right partner, or no longer trusting their radar. They might have chosen a lot of maybe bad eggs in the past.
Yeah.
And they just want to learn how to recognise. I suppose that goes into sometimes their attachment from childhood. Yeah. We might work out if they've got anxious attachment, secure attachment or avoidant attachment. And if they've got anxious attachment and they're attracted to avoidant attachments, they're just in for a world of heartache, really. Yeah. So we'll show them what secure attachment looks like and how they can develop secure attachment. and then they can have a relationship.
So that's interesting. It really is about the relationship counselling. That's what it sounds like. Whereas it's funny, I imagined it was more like the actual sexual act. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
Do you ever need to give advice around technique?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever have to use props?
Sometimes we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we do. Often I draw pictures. Yeah, because like there's tantric sex techniques, there's slow sex techniques by Diana Richardson for busy couples. There's so many different things. And we might use sensate focus exercises as well. If one of them's got performance anxiety or we need to slow things down or someone's had some past trauma, we might just do these sensual exercises for their bodies to work up trust. Or for some couples, they don't even know that, I don't know how graphic I can go on this show, but I won't tell you.
You can go graphic. It's okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can go graphic. If you don't, listeners, sisters, if you're listening and we're about to go graphic, you can turn it down for 5 minutes.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yep.
Go graphic.
Well, yeah. So some women don't know that the vaginal canal is as long as your finger and you can reach your cervix, but that pulls up when you've had enough foreplay. So the penis is not hitting your cervix. It's not causing you pain.
So when you become aroused enough, your cervix goes
it pulls
higher.
up. Yeah. And also the most sexually stimulated nerve endings on a vulva or vagina is at the entrance of the vagina. So a lot of women go, I can't have a vaginal orgasm, but 75% of women mainly have clitoral orgasms.
Yeah.
And mainly if you stimulate the entrance of the vagina, that's where you're going to get the most arousal from. Whereas if you go straight into really hard and fast kind of porn sex that guys have been watching, it's going to be painful or it's not going to work. I mean, and spending time looking for their G-spot, like...
Yeah.
There's much more basic level stuff that's going to work for a woman's body better. So when I teach couples that, they're like, oh my God, why didn't anyone tell us?
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of knew a bit about that because I did used to read the sealed section in Cosmo and Cleo back in the day.
Excellent.
Honestly, that's where I learned about all the sexual stuff and technique. And actually, remember in the sealed sections, they would have, how to give like a blowjob.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And kind of go, they don't really have that anymore. But okay, that's where I learnt about all of that stuff. But if you never really read that, you go, how do you actually learn it?
Absolutely. And a lot of young people are learning off porn these days, which is just not how our bodies really work very well. Like it's, so that sealed section was great in those magazines, and they're getting us more into schools now, or we run workshops at festivals and stuff like that. So we're able to give people some basic education that works a bit better. Like sometimes I'll tell guys that come in and they're struggling with erectile dysfunction. If they've got erectile dysfunction and they're under the age of 40, over 50, it can come and go now and again, and that's normal. But under 40, if they're struggling with that and they don't have nocturnal erections or erections overnight or things like that, the first thing we might get them to do is go to their GP and get checked out for cardiovascular disease or diabetes and just rule out that stuff first.
Yeah.
So it's just so much our bodies can tell us that we don't even know about, that's really important information.
Can I?
Sorry.
No, I love it. Okay, I think we might need to do a second episode about this, okay, because there's so much we need to know and we don't know.
I probably crossed too many topics in the 30 minutes.
No, I love it. Can women take Viagra? I saw that in Sex and the City, Samantha took Viagra.
Yeah, it's not really recommended. It's probably more of a placebo effect.
Yeah, sure.
And you've got to make sure you've got no heart issues, and there's other things women can do that are better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I read an article once and they said that the biggest sex organ in the human body is the human brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely in women's bodies for sure. Because men have testosterone, and we have a little bit of testosterone, but we've got oxytocin, a lot more huggy kind of chemicals, bonding chemicals after the orgasm. So for women, it is our brains, the erogenous zone. That's why you've got to get her out of the housework, away from the housework or the kids or before she can let any sexual thoughts come in, because it's just too clashing, that environment, trying to think sexy thoughts to get her body in the mood.
Yeah.
So, and women that don't fantasize or read erotic fiction find it harder to orgasm as well. So
I used to read a lot of erotic fiction when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Now I don't have the time.
It's like
I
that.
don't have the time to read erotic fiction now.
No, well, Audible. Put it on Audible while you drive. It might be dangerous.
I'm too busy helping women who've escaped domestic violence. Which,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, that's probably too far a world to get
which
in the
is
mood.
probably why my husband said to me last year, we really need to go away every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
To have a 5-day weekend every 6 weeks. He's like, I need to get you out of Newcastle and out of that whole...
Absolutely. If you work in heavy fields like this kind of stuff and domestic violence or sexual violence and stuff like that, definitely you've got to have self-care breaks or you'll never be in the mood.
I can imagine like jobs where like teachers where you're talking all day, you're thinking all day.
Yeah.
It could be a bit hard sometimes to kind of come home, switch off and...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So do you see many people with physical problems?
Yeah, like I said, there's plenty of guys with radical prostatectomy after prostate cancer and having to get used to their new functioning, or women after breast cancer if they've had a mastectomy and stuff like that. So, working on their self-worth around other things, or guys with back injury and no longer getting erections, or they can get erection but they can't ejaculate and things like that. So the grief and loss, you've got to help the couple heal that of what was before and then show them what can be with their new bodies and their new sexual functioning. And there's some beautiful ways that you can be intimate together without... Sometimes they can end up having really quite amazing, long, beautiful sex sessions with stuff they've never done before. Because before they were just doing it was easy to just do the
Squeeze
porn
it in.
stuff.
Yeah. Just try and
Hurry up, we've got to cook dinner.
Yeah.
I suppose some couples would come in with unrealistic expectations on their bodies or their sex life together, but not know that past sexual trauma or domestic violence or childhood abuse or anything like that really can block them from enjoying the sex they want or even wanting sex or feeling safe. And a lot of couples don't know how to heal that. So it's really good to get in to see a safe therapist. Are
there many sex therapists in Newcastle that you know of?
Not that I know of. I think there's like about 3 of us, but I don't really know. But there's a governing body in Sydney called ASIT, New South Wales. So if you look them up on the internet, they'll have all the qualified sex therapists on there in a profile.
What have you learned about people during your time as a sex therapist?
Wow, what a question, I suppose.
Because I can imagine that you're around people of all different types of people all the time. What have you learnt about people?
It's such a privilege and such an incredible honour to see behind the curtain and see people's real lives, what really goes on behind the image everyone's trying to present of having it all together and being happy and in love and everything like that. And what I've realised is over the years, I suppose one thing is the person you have 10 out of 10 chemistry is not your soulmate.
Yeah.
Or it may not be. So don't jump into getting married and having kids. I suppose this is for, it can feel like, oh, wow, this is it. And it may well be, but it may just mean you have some matching childhood wounds and if you have really great chemistry, but you might not have... So long-term relationships generally need some matching values and some matching life goals. And about a 7 out of 10 sexual chemistry is great. It means you want to have sex with them, but you can still go to work.
Yeah. Well, because especially if you're going to be with somebody for a long time.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. You don't want to be so obsessed with them that you can't function, or the jealousy or the crazy controlling obsession sometimes we see, or 1 out of 10 chemistry where they're just family, like you just don't feel anything. So 7 out of 10 is a nice, really good, sexy, hot marriage, but you can still do your careers. It brings out the best in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I've got that. Yeah.
I thought you might.
Yeah, I've got that with my hubby. He's a good egg.
It's awesome.
He's a good egg.
Yeah.
You've mentioned it a couple of times during this episode, and I'm probably getting a bit personal, but I had breast cancer 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I was having the chemotherapy, and I go, that was a really big thing, the impact on our sex life.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I was bald
Yes.
and
Yeah.
not feeling very attractive.
Yeah.
So my husband was really beautiful. He was always very reassuring, that it didn't matter. I had no hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
And quite often my face was all red from the steroids and all of that. But sorry, so I'm going deep and personal again, sister, so you might need to turn it down if you don't want to hear this. But my vagina totally dried up from all the chemotherapy drugs.
Yeah.
And my husband was great. Like, he's very kind and patient, whatever. But I was like, I'm going to have to get out the KY.
Yeah.
I felt as a woman at that time, I felt like there was something really wrong with me, that I was like,
you failed.
Like I'd failed.
Yeah.
It was an interesting time. And, the good thing is, though, that once the chemotherapy had finished, your body kind of comes back to normal again and got out of that weird perimenopausal state and everything.
Yeah.
And I kind of bounced back to normal. But, that was a bit of an awkward sort of time.
Oh, you're just so lucky you have a supportive, loving relationship where you feel really loved, because it's so hard. And then I see a lot of couples come in on top of that where they might have based their own self-worth or each other's self-worth quite a lot on looks or being skinny or whatever it was. And, mainly people are having the negative self-talk to themselves about their body image, but it really does affect you. And, to go through something like that, the grief and loss and of how you were before and then imagining you're a failure. There's the unrealistic sexual expectations we have on ourselves, even for women to get wet naturally all the time or there's something wrong with me. But a lot of women need to use a vibrator during sex, like a little egg or a bullet. Hold it on their clitoris to stay wet long enough, because that's just the way some bodies work.
Yes. So a couple of years ago, I had a sex party. A girl I went to school with.
I love this.
She decided that she was going to do the extra income with the party plan sex toys.
Yeah.
So of course we all supported her and did the rounds of each having a sex party. But it was really interesting, all the devices.
Yeah.
And there was one of those. It was like a ring. And you put it on, and at the end of it, so it vibrated. So
was it a penis ring? Like, does it put on the penis and then it goes on the clitoris?
It was so it was just like an actual ring you put on your finger, but on the inside of the ring, on the inside of your finger, it vibrated. So you could use it, or your hubby could put it on and hold it against your clitoris. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Use that for stimulation. So, you know what? Need to bring back the party, sex party plan.
Oh, there's some great sex toys.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I had never been to one before, but there was so many things I actually had no idea about.
Yeah.
And I did get a few, and my husband was very happy about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's so good, because I think people forget to be playful in the bedroom. They start taking it so seriously. And so clearly you guys have got some of the key factors you need in a long-term relationship. Like, keep it fun.
Yeah.
Like, bring in the sex toys, or some men feel a bit like they're a failure if you bring sex toys into the bedroom, like, aren't I good enough, or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking, let's have a bit of playtime.
Yeah.
Have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
So if people are having problems, maybe with libido, or like you were saying, maybe there's it's just kind of not working, but they don't really know why.
Yeah.
They can reach out to you.
Absolutely. Performance anxiety, dyspareunia, vaginismus.
What's vaginismus?
So it's where I'm showing you actions. I know no one can see this. I suppose it's painful and the vagina muscles tense like this, and normally their partner can't insert his penis if they're in a heterosexual relationship, or same-sex couples struggle if they want to use toys, or a lot of couples end up coming to see me when they want to have a baby.
Okay.
So often I send them to Eileen Labbitt's physio to do some dilator therapy. Well, first to their GP and the gynecologist and figure out what's going on medically. We rule out anything medical first. And then they come back to me to do the psychological work. So I might talk about what's happened to them, if there's any trauma or anything in the past, or if they've tried to keep having sex during UTIs and thrush. Some younger clients have they feel guilty saying no to their partner, so they keep having sex because they want to please him. And they'll have partners that, if they knew that was going on, they would be happy for her to say no. But, yeah, I think a lot of people pressure themselves. Oh, I've got to do this, or,
Yeah.
you know, it means we don't love each other if we stop having sex for a little while. But then the body has vaginismus, and so you might end up doing dilator therapy with a physio and working on what's going on for you psychologically or what's happened to you in the past, and breathing through it to relax your muscles, and that's what vaginismus is, but it's much more complex than that.
Yeah. So if you're having any performance problems,
Performance anxiety?
Yeah.
Men and women can get that.
Yeah. Anything, they can reach out to you.
Absolutely.
Do they need a referral from a GP?
No, you can look us up on the Thrive Wellness Hub website. So I'll be on there and they can contact me straight through that. But a lot of people do get a GP referral. And yeah, it's good to rule out anything medical first, and then we can get going really well in the psychological stuff or what's going on for your body.
Okay, and here's the big question. What's your success rate?
Well, I haven't had to... No, that's a great question. And I haven't had to advertise for 8 years. So
it does work. Like, that's what I'm saying. If somebody is coming, you know, is having some problems with their partner, their sex life, and they're kind of like, oh, does it really work? It does work.
Yeah, well, I have people coming back to me that I saw 8 years ago, or sending me people that, like, I get clients send me their neighbours, their work colleagues, their family members. So it's like, it's working for them, because they'll come back and say, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, I've seen couples that come in and you just go, guys, you're telling me you're getting married in 4 months. I don't know why, because you can't think of anything you like about each other. And I've had couples say, no, give us the tools, we can do this. And if you have a high level of commitment, you watch them all fall in love again, and it's quite amazing. But if you come in, some couples come in when it's just too little too late.
Yeah.
And if you've only got if both of you have only got level 1 or 2 commitment, then you're not going to practice the tools. You're basically like, you're done, you know, and that's heartbreaking. But I can help people through that too.
Yeah.
How to co-parent in a healthy way or break up in a healthy way. But a lot of them I watch fall in love again, and it's beautiful.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I have so many more questions, so I think I'm going to have you come back again and do another episode. But in the meantime, if people want to reach out to you, just Google Thrive Wellness Hub and Google Gabrielle Lawrie, relationship and sex therapist, and she's here to help you. I think she could be an angel.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you.